Hey, you guys, welcome to session 4 of Pink Bootcamp. This is the 4th and final session that we're going to do, and this is on business management, so prepare yourself to drink from a fire hose because we're going to cover a lot of different topics that are very detail-oriented, okay? So buckle in, and I want to start with the 12-step program. And that's for new consultants to give you a path to run on and kind of create that checklist satisfaction. You know how good it feels to and check it off as you go. We want to create that sense of satisfaction and teach you to get small wins along the way and just give you the security of knowing, like, okay, if I do this, this, and this, I know I'm on the right track to success. And so that's what we wanted to create for you within the 12-step program. So let's go to the workbook and we'll take a look at it. And I want you to see a visual as I'm talking through it. And here it is. This is the 12-step program and prize checklist. And so you just start with number 1 and move on to number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through 12. And we're set up to be done in the order that they are presented in. They start very, very simple, and then they get more involved as you go along. So for example, step 8 involves all 4 of our Pink Bootcamp sessions, and then the little challenges that we have in the workbook. Okay, so they get more involved as you go. And then the final steps are working the Perfect 12 program, which is working on your powers, more details in a few minutes, and then moving into red. And so as a new consultant, if you ever just feel like, okay, what do I do next? Or what should I focus on? Or I'm not sure what to do next. Just always go back to the 12-step program and work wherever you're at, because it's going to keep you on the right track. Okay, so that is the 12-step program, and we're going to jump right in and move on to the Perfect 12 program, which is our next topic. And you will notice that step 11 is working a level of the Perfect 12 program, and there are multiple levels, which I'm going to describe here. And so the Perfect 12 program is just a focus on holding full circle parties. It's as simple as that. And here's level 4. Right here, that's called a perfect 4, and then we recognize a perfect 6, we recognize 8, and we recognize a perfect 12. And we've created this program just to give you a path to run on, and again, to help you feel successful and to help you get small wins along the way, to create a form of recognition, so you're being recognized for the work and effort that you do along the way. And so this sheet here is a tracking sheet that is intended to be used for an entire calendar month. Okay, so you could even go ahead and print 12 of these off for the entire year, and you've got your perfect 12 tracking sheets all ready to go. And so each week you fill it out and you turn it into your sales director, and then at the end of the month you add up your totals and you turn that into your sales director. And we do recognition within our units and then also within our national area for people who are working the Perfect 12 program. So let's define some of these things. It's fairly self-explanatory, but I want to make sure you guys have all the details so you know how to work this. The primary focus is on full circle parties. And let's do a quick definition of full circle. First, full circle means you had at least 200 in sales at the party, 2 future parties booked, and then one I like to add at the end is having at least 2 guests booked to your meeting too. I think that's another important aspect of full circle. And so as you hold your parties, you write the hostess's name down, party sales, number of future parties booked, and number of career surveys booked. Now, to count as one of your parties, it needs to be, you can see it right here, a party equals a hostess, and they need to be 18 years of age or older, and they need to not already have a Mary Kay consultant, because we don't want to steal other people's people, and so we want you to be meeting new people that you're not taking away from another consultant. And so you track them here, and as you'll see, the different levels are highlighted, so you can see how much progress you're making. And then faces. We don't focus on that as much as we focus on parties, but this is a great place to track your faces. And then let's say you book a facial or a double facial with 1 or 2 people. That doesn't necessarily count as a party, but it still counts for something. It counts as a face, and it's something that you can fill in up here. And there are 60 spaces to track. Okay, let's jump over here. Guests per week. This is where you write the name down of the person you're sharing the opportunity with. This Y, N, and M stands for yes, no, or maybe. So you circle where she's at and her decision about the business opportunity. And we gave you a space here to write next layer. And if you remember from the team building video, is that recruiting process. And it's all about layering people with information. And the average woman needs about 4 layers to make a yes decision. And so once you've done a career, I think it's great to write down what next layer would be most beneficial for her to continue to learn more about the business opportunity. Okay, let's jump down here. It says 1,000 retail sales per week. And we put that number here just to help you wrap your mind and stretch your mind around hitting that number each week. It's not a requirement to be recognized in the Perfect 12 program, but we just want you to stretch your mind to think that $1,000 weeks are possible for you. And so you write down your retail that you sold and then your wholesale that you ordered. Okay, retail sales collected minus your tax, because remember, tax is a wash. You pay the sales tax when you order, and then your customers pay it back to you. So you take the tax out of there and just do your straight up retail sales and then your wholesale order. And again, you don't include tax or shipping. You just do the section 1 wholesale amount, and you list that here. And then again, we want you to stretch your mind, wrap your mind around a gold medal. A gold medal is adding 5 new team members in the month. Now, it's not a requirement to achieve a Perfect 12 level, but we want you to stretch your mind to think at that level. And so as you add new team members, you list them here. And so again, you're turning this into your sales director each week and then adding up your totals at the end to turn into her at the end of the month. And each sales director has their own way that they like things to be turned in, so you need to check with her. If you are in my unit, you send me a picture of this every Monday by midnight. At the end of the month, there's a link on our website that you would click on to enter your month-to-date totals. So just a picture throughout the month, and the end of the month, you're going to submit that online. Okay, so that is the Perfect 12 program, you guys. And so briefly, I just want to talk about some benefits that I've mentioned a few, but I've watched consultants work this program and similar programs over the years. And I myself have also worked these programs. And I've just noticed the benefits that people who focus on this truly create growth in your business. And it just gives you a path to run on. I remember as a new consultant, I remember thinking, like, okay, well, what should I be doing, and what's enough, and what's good? I just wanted a definition of like what was considered successful and what was considered progress. And it was this similar type of program that sort of gave me that definition. And once I really learned the path to run on, it became so much more simple to me to work my business, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this, because this is where I can get recognition in these areas. And so this program, whether you work the Perfect 4, 6, 8, or 12 level, it gives you a path to run on. At the Perfect 4 level, you're holding 1 party a week to hold a total of 4. Perfect 6 level is 1 to 2 parties a week. Perfect 8 is 2 parties a week, and Perfect 12 is 3 parties a week. And you'd be working about 5 hours a week at the Perfect 4 level. And if you bump up to the Perfect 12, that's more like maybe 15 hours a week. And still just part-time work, but it's going to produce success and growth in your business. Perfect 4 is more of a maintenance level to work at, while Perfect 12, Perfect 8 and Perfect 12 are more of a level that's going to produce a lot of fast growth. So if you're wanting to move quickly and you're wanting to move up fast and create a lot of success quickly, working at the perfect 8 level is going to help you to do that. Perfect 4 is maintenance. Perfect 6 is a little bit of, it's growth, but it's going to happen at more of a steady pace. Okay, so let's move on to Party X Time program. And the Perfect 12 program meets the Party Time program. And so these programs are very, very connected. And by doing Party Time and focusing on that, it produced a level of Perfect 12. And so these programs are very much connected. And so the Party Time program is your way to set up and sustain a strong month. And we do bi-monthly recognition on the 5th and the 15th. So this is something, again, where you're turning your numbers into your sales director, and we're doing recognition for whoever completes a Party Time 8 or a Party Time 12 by the 5th, also again by the 15th. And so by focusing on Party Time, you're able to produce a Perfect 12. Let me go through a couple of examples. A Party Time 12 is 12 booked, confirmed, and coach group appointments on your date book by the 5th and or the 15th of the month. Now, if you complete it once, you'll achieve a Perfect 6, because about half will hold and the other half will cancel or reschedule. So if you have 12 booked, you're going to hold about 6. Now, if you complete it twice, so let's say you have a Party Time 12 by the 5th and then a Party Time 12 by the 15th, actually achieve a Perfect 12. Because that means you essentially have booked 24 in the month and you're holding about half of those. A Party Time 8, if you complete it one time, you finish a Perfect 4, complete it twice, and you're going to finish a Perfect 8. Okay, and then let's define a Perfect Start and a Power Start. A Perfect Start is book 8 to hold 4 in 30 days. And then a Power Start is book 12 to hold 6 in 30 days. And then here is where you list your parties that you have booked with the hostess's name. And then you circle yes or no for 24-hour confirmation. Has everybody been pre-profiled? And do you have the guest list? You circle yes or no for that. And so we've created these tracking sheets for you to use them. I really, truly believe that by you using them, it's going to support you in being successful. Also, a tracked number grows. So when you're tracking and focusing on certain numbers, they grow. They naturally grow because you're putting energy and focus into these areas. So using these sheets alone will truly produce a lot of success and growth in your business. So let's talk briefly. Let me go back to the screen here, the camera. Before we move on to some other topics in the workbook, I want to briefly talk about events. And so we have a saying in Mary Kay that you need to show up to go up. And women who are consistently plugged in to weekly meetings and then our area events that happen throughout the year, they are naturally moving up more quickly, taking the time to invest in themselves and taking the time to put themselves in a space where they're going to see a bigger picture and they're going to receive a bigger vision. Sometimes you have to pull yourself out of your normal routine and get into the space of an event to be inspired, to be motivated, to see more of what you can do with your business, to relate to other people, to hear other women's success stories that you can connect with and relate to and emulate what they've done in their business and just follow the path that they've been on. And so I can't say enough about the value of getting plugged in and staying plugged in. I've never really seen someone move up and sustain a level of success without being plugged into events and consistently attending events. And, you know, if you really study people who've been successful, I mean, across the board, they all say, these like success gurus and people who've been wildly successful say that kind of a success secret or a success principle is investing in yourself and spending money on personal development. And so that's what these events are. It's your opportunity to invest in you and to develop yourself. Because you learn so much, you grow so much, you have new thoughts, you have new ideas to implement, you get educated and inspired. I mean, so much unfolds when you attend some of the bigger events. And so the 4 main ones that we have each year, one is a January Jumpstart that happens in the beginning of every new year. We have that career conference in the spring, and that happens locally. And then we have Fall Advance. I'm sorry, I skipped one. We have Seminar in the summer, and that's always in Dallas, Texas, where the Mary Kay headquarters is. And then we have in October, and again, that's usually locally in the Ohio area, which is driving distance from everyone in our area. And then there's always a couple of extra events that are thrown in there throughout the year. So there are other things you can get plugged into, mainly local events, but those are the 4 big ones. I follow Darren Hardy, and he has always followed first he tithes 10% of his income, and then the next 10% he spends on personal growth. And he has stuck to this little formula for years and attributes his success to just a willingness to invest in himself. So, for example, if you make $100,000 a year, you would take 10,000 of that personal development. And that's what these events give you the opportunity to do, because they all cost something. Some of the more local events, it's a very reasonable price. Seminar is the more expensive one to attend in Dallas. But it's so worth the investment to your business. And so those are the events, and you get all the details with plenty of time to make a decision and organize your calendar and your schedule to be able to attend. So let's go back to the workbook here, and we're going to talk about the next topic, which is the STAR Consultant Program. My heart skip to this. And the STAR Consultant Program is something that the company has recognized for years and years. And very similar to the Party Time and Perfect 12 program, it gives you a path to run on. It gives you a focus. It helps you to stay motivated. And then it celebrates your success and it celebrates your wins. Okay, so it's just another program that helps you to do that. And it's funny when you work the Perfect 12 program and the Party Time program, it will produce most likely you being a STAR consultant each quarter. Okay, so a focus on Party Time and Perfect 12 produces success and wins within the STAR consultant program too. So let's start with going over the different levels here. In this little purple box, you can see that the first level of a STAR is called Sapphire Star, and it's 1,800 wholesale, okay? And so that means all of the orders you placed in a quarter. And let me break down the dates for you for the Mary Kay quarter. Excuse me, the first quarter actually begins June 16th. Okay, June 16th, the very first quarter begins, and it goes to September 15th. The second quarter starts on September 16th. The very next day that the first quarter ended, the second quarter begins, and it goes to December 15th. And then on December 16th, the third quarter begins, and it goes to March 15th. And then on March 16th, the fourth and final quarter begins and ends on June 15th. So that's how the quarters go. And so any wholesale orders that you place, whether large or small, within those calendar quarters count towards your STAR. And so 1,800, next level up is a Ruby Star at 2,400 wholesale. Then your Diamond Star at 3,000 wholesale, Emerald at 3,600 wholesale, and Pearl at 4,800 wholesale. Now, most new consultants who work the business like a business will start as a STAR consultant and make an initial investment to have products on hand and have a debut, and that's how they'll start. And then every quarter after that, you rebuild to your STAR. So every single quarter, you have an opportunity to be a STAR again. And on the first day of every quarter, everybody starts off at 0, and then you have the entire 12 weeks to build back up to a STAR level. Okay, I want to break down the retail to sell at each level, just to give you an idea about what it takes. Okay, so let's start with Sapphire Star. That's 1,800 wholesale. Divide 1,800 wholesale by the 12 weeks you have in the quarter. That equals 150 wholesale per week. So if you were to do it evenly, which most people don't, you guys, most people just place one order at the end of the month to restock what they sold that month. So that is what is normal when you have an adequate inventory. You don't have to do it that way, but that's what most people do who have a nicely stocked inventory. But if you did it evenly, it would be 150 wholesale per week, which when you double 150, that's 300 retail. So selling 300 retail a week and reordering half of that, which is about one party a week would produce a Sapphire Star level. Maybe 1 to 2 as you're learning your selling skills as a new consultant. That gives you an idea of what it takes to be a Sapphire Star. Then Ruby Star, if you take 2,400 and divide it by 12, that's 200 wholesale. You'd be selling 400 retail per week. And then Diamond Star is reordering 250 wholesale per week, which is selling 500 retail. Emerald Star, that's ordering 300 wholesale per week, which is selling 600 retail. And then Pearl Star is ordering 400 a week, which is selling 800 retail. 800 retail is about 3 to 4 parties a week. 3 to 4 parties a week would produce that, which is a perfect 12. Okay, so the bottom level star at Sapphire is going to take like a perfect 4, and then the highest level star is going to take more like a perfect 12. Now, there are some variables that are a part of the Star Consultant program, and one of the reorders, your reorder business. As you establish a solid customer base, we have consultants who are Sapphire Stars every quarter from their reorders alone. They don't even need their party sales to be a star because their reorder business is so strong. So you really can get to that level. Another thing that factors into your star level is team building. $600, or I guess a 600-point credit for every qualified team member you add. So let's do an example of this. Let's say you get to 1,800 wholesale in the quarter just from your sales and reorders. Well, let's say also within that quarter, you had a new team member order her starter kit and then place a qualified order. And a qualified order is 600 wholesale. And so if she starts her business qualified, then you get 600 points towards your star. And so once you're at Sapphire, it automatically bumps you up to a Ruby Star. Now, you can't just recruit 3 qualified people and have 600 points and 600 points and 600 to be a Sapphire Star. You have to actually hit Sapphire first with your sales alone, your sales and reorders. Then that team building bonus starts to kick in. And so that can really affect the level that you move up to, depending on how many team members you're adding per quarter. And so let's go through how you would break it down. Well, step 1, pick a level that you want to be at. A lot of people look at the prize brochure, decide which prize they want, and then that helps them to decide the level that they want. So what is your goal? Or you could just consistently work a perfect 4. And so Sapphire and Ruby might be more of your goals. If you want to consistently work more like a perfect 8 or a perfect 12, these higher level star statuses might be more where you're going to shoot for, what you're going to shoot for. So what is your goal? Step 2, how much wholesale do you have in for the quarter? So you need to always know that. And that is a number that is always reported on InTouch and that you can always look up. And then on the perfect 12 tracking sheet, you can also keep track of your wholesale in towards your star. Figure out how much wholesale you need to finish. And then you break it down by retail. Okay, if I need to order 1,000 wholesale to finish my star, how much retail do I need to sell? And if you've got a full store, you just need to sell double that. You need to sell 2,000 retail to reorder 1,000 wholesale. And we encourage you to break it down weekly and daily because it's just a smaller number. And when those numbers are smaller, it seems more achievable. Step 5, how many qualified team members will you add to increase your level? And then step 6, how many interviews or career surveys and guests do you need to have to reach your recruiting goal? So if you want to add 1 new qualified, you most likely need to recruit 2 people. 2 people, usually 1 will come in qualified. And to recruit 2, you probably need to do about 10 career surveys. And 1 out of every 4 to 5 will sign. And so by doing 10, it's going to give you about 2, which would give you about 1 qualified team member. Okay, this is a numbers business. It is totally a numbers business, and so you can always set your goals and achieve your goals by breaking down the numbers, and going through these steps helps you to do that. That we're not going to spend a lot of time on today are 21 ways to finish your STAR, and it gives you 21 ideas to work with so that you can generate sales and generate business so that you're finishing the quarter with a STAR level under your belt. So the STAR Consultant Program. Each quarter you get a prize from the company, and they don't give away cheap stuff. They give away designer handbags and really nice jewelry and furniture or appliances for your home. I mean, they really give away some beautiful, beautiful things. My home is filled with all kinds of STAR Consultant prizes. And when the quarter ends, you order your prize and then they ship it right to you. And it's a really fun little gift that you can earn every quarter. You also do get recognized within your unit for being a STAR. And then our national area recognizes 4 quarter stars. And those are women who are who hit that STAR status at some level of the seminar year, meaning that they're 4 quarter stars, and we do lots of recognition for them. And then for the company, 4 quarter stars get invited to an all-star luncheon. So there's a lot of perks for being a consistent STAR. That covers the STAR Consultant Program. Let me go back to the video, and I'm going to talk more about your website and ProPay. So a couple more details here. You can sign up for a personal shopping website. It would be mary.com/ and have your name after that. And this is where your customers can go order their products, and it's a great way to provide value and provide customer service to your people. And so it is one of the 12 steps is to sign up for a website, and you get a really cute cosmetic display tray when you do that. And we do have a separate video on the 12-step program page that goes through some details about how to set up your website and how to customize it. So you can check that out. And then ProPay is a service that you can sign up for that allows you to process debit and credit cards connected to your website. So when people go to your website and they want to check out and pay online, when you have a ProPay account, they're able to do that, and those funds are deposited directly into ProPay. And then you can either use those funds directly to reorder, or you can transfer them to your Mary Kay checking account. So website and ProPay, very, very important things to set up in the beginning of your business. So let's jump to the PCP program. PCP, it's not a drug. It stands for the Preferred Customer Program. And this is a way to provide customer service to your people. And every quarter, you have the option to enroll your customers into the PCP program. And the company sends them a lookbook, or the new lookbook for the quarter per person, which is less expensive than if you were to order the lookbooks, get them in, put postage on them, put labels on them. You would spend more money trying to do it yourself. And so the company provides this great opportunity, and they do it for us. We just have to enroll the people that we want to have the lookbook sent to, and then it comes with a sample, and then for you to follow up with your customers and do some customer service calls. And it's a wonderful way to get reorders also. And so in Mary Kay, we don't want to have one-night stands with our customers, you know, one and done. Customers for life. And the PCP program is a great way to do that your customers can count on getting a new catalog from you every quarter, and then you're following up with her on the phone and through text to check in on her, make sure she's happy with her products, and then give her an opportunity to reorder anything that she needs or order some new products that come out every single quarter. The program, we always send reminders when it's time to enroll. And so you want to be entering your customers' information into the My Customers database on Mary Kay InTouch as you're meeting new people and establishing your customer base. Enter them in as you go. Because then when it comes time to enroll them in the PCP program, select the people that you want to have it sent to you. Don't let your profile cards or party sheets pile up way a mile high, because then when the PCP enrollment time comes around, it's going to take a lot of time to go through those. So just consistently be entering your customers that you're establishing. And it makes the PCP program really simple to enroll your people. Let's move on to weekly accomplishments. Okay, so this is on Mary Kay InTouch. If you go to my dashboard, one of the options under that is weekly accomplishments. And so you click on that and it takes you to a page where you can enter a lot of numbers. It is fairly self-explanatory, but I want to go through just a couple of things to make sure you're super clear. So let's first explain why we do this. And that we do it is for taxes. Because, well, and for tracking. We want you to learn how to track. We want you to know your numbers. We want you to keep track of your sales. But in our unit, in our national area, we do that through the Perfect 12 program that I want to see, that I want you to be using each week and every time you have a party, and learn your numbers and learn to track your numbers on that Perfect 12 program. But then weekly accomplishments, the beautiful thing about this program is that it keeps an ongoing record of your sales all year. And so then when tax time rolls around, all you have to do is print a report and it has all your totals. And you need that come tax time. And so that's why we keep track of this, for that reason. And so when you go there, the very first page, it's a box with a little spreadsheet, but it is truly, truly very simple. You're entering your hostess's name. So let's say Sally had a party for you. You're going to enter like all of the numbers that came from Sally's party into one line. You know, Sally Parker. And then the next thing you enter is how many hours the party took. And then you enter the number of guests who were there, the number of orders you received, the number of bookings you got, the number of skincare sets you sold for the party minus tax, because then in the next box you enter the tax that you collected. You enter your hostess giveaway. Then you enter any other giveaway that maybe you gave away an eyeliner for Pass the Pencil game, giveaway products. And then you enter non-recovered sales tax. So let's say you gave that eyeliner away as a gift. You're not going to tax her on that eyeliner, so you essentially did not recover the tax that you paid on that. And so that's an important number for your accountant to know at the end of the year. So you want to enter non-recovered sales tax. You know, Mary's party. Mary had a party this week. You enter in all the similar information. And then what I do for reorders is let's say I got 5 reorders that week. I just, instead of the hostess's name, I title it reorders. And then I enter in all the numbers that came from all 5 of my reorders into one little entry for that week. And then you go through, I want to say it's maybe 6 or 7 different pages where you're entering in other information about how you worked your business that week. For example, who did you share the opportunity with? You have a chance to enter that information in there. Now, the most important things are all those numbers I just went through. You want to enter all your sales, tax, giveaways, non-recovered sales tax you need at the end of the year. And so if we did not have the Perfect 12 and the Party Time program in our unit and national area, this weekly accomplishments is how we would do recognition. And so, but we don't do it through weekly accomplishments. We do it through other programs. And so it's a little bit redundant because you're reporting some similar numbers on Perfect 12. 12 for recognition and for your own personal tracking. And then you do weekly accomplishments, name you guys, okay? So again, don't let your sales tickets pile up this high because then it gets to be very overwhelming to enter in all that information. Just get in the habit of doing it every week, guys. Just every week. Pick a time. Like when I was a new consultant, it was Sunday nights. Sunday nights was my get my organized night, where I would enter in all my customers. I would organize that paperwork. I would submit my numbers to my director, and I just got organized. It didn't take that long, but you want to set aside a time each week to be able to do this so you stay on top of some of these things. Which leads us to our next topic, which is office organization. So we could probably spend an hour on how to keep you organized, but we're just going to spend a good foundation and a place to start with. And I'm just going to give you a couple of tips. And so I have this basket on my desk. And when I come home from parties, I just dump things in the basket. Okay, I'm just dumping sales tickets, profile cards, party sheets, just dump it in there. One time a week, I'm going through it. Like I said, when I was a new consultant, it was on Sunday nights. The beautiful thing about as you move up in this business, one thing we teach you to do is have help. And so eventually you can delegate these things to an assistant who can handle them for you. But right now, you are most likely doing these things on your own. And so you're going to enter them all in to the computer. Okay, sales ticket and your profile card. Once it's in Mary Kay in Touch and you've reported your numbers and you've tracked them on your Perfect 12 tracking sheet, then here's what I do. I take a copy of the sales ticket, because there's multiple copies. I take a copy and I paper clip it behind my customer's profile or party sheet, because I want to keep an ongoing record of what they purchased. Because when it comes to reorder time, it's really helpful to be able to refer to that quickly. Is CC cream medium to deep. If you want to know her foundation shades, her eye colors that she uses, you want to know if she's normal to dry, combination of oily, that information is really, really helpful when it comes to reorder time. Or when she calls you and she's like, and she doesn't know what it's called and she doesn't know what shade it is. And so that's a way you can provide customer service by knowing that stuff. And so you want to keep a copy of the sales ticket with your customer information. And then when I used profile cards, I just had a big photo box. And customer's profile cards in there, and then paper clipped a copy of the ticket behind a profile card, and re-clipping their reorders behind their profile card. Party sheet, which is an option to use instead of the profile card. And then I would just get a binder for your party sheets and do the same thing, paper clip it behind there. And then you have all your stuff in one place. Then you want another copy to go into another organization system for taxes. Okay, so you want what I use is a box, and it's just a cheap plastic that has hanging folders, and I have a category for everything I need to keep track of for sales. And your sales tickets is one of them. You want to keep a paper copy, and so you just pop a carbon copy in that one too. And then the rest I just throw away. You don't need the rest. So that's how I organize my sales tickets. The rest of the things I organize in the box, we're going to get to in a couple minutes when we start to talk about taxes. Time management, really quickly. We've got a couple topics left. And time management is one that I want to talk about with you. So let's go back to our workbook. And let me pull it up here. Here we go. What you're looking at is in your workbook. This is a weekly plan sheet. Weekly plan sheet. Check it out. And time management is probably one of my most favorite topics to learn about. And I've spent and invested a lot of time in learning about time management and concepts of time management and how to use it effectively and how to be insanely productive in the time that you have. And so we could probably spend a couple hours talking about this topic, but again, we're just going to go over some basics to lay a good foundation for information on time management as it relates to your Mary Kay business. But this is a topic you can continue to learn about so you can be the most effective version of you. And when I think of time management, what I think of is, you know what, God's given me this time on this earth to accomplish certain purposes and to grow as a person and to grow in my relationship with him and to be most effective at the roles he's called me to: mom, sister, daughter, friend, leader in Mary Kay. I want to be the best steward of the time I've been given on this earth that I possibly can be. I want to be a good steward of it. I want to invest it well. I want to invest my time in things that matter. I want to invest my time in people. And so to do that, we have to learn to effectively manage our time, which I don't think there's such time management, because time goes with or without you. You know, you don't manage time. It's going whether you're managing it or not. It's more like self-management. Okay, you're managing yourself and your own personal choices and your own personal habits. While it's truly self-managed, and it's also energy. If you don't have energy to get to the roles called you to and the things that he's placed in your life, it doesn't matter how much time. It's time management also has a lot of and self-care, like taking care of yourself, so you have energy to give the things that God has to do. That's a lot of getting to sleep, or however your body needs, like getting enough sleep, eating food that energize you, taking care of yourself. Basic energy. That are taking away your and not giving energy to do that thing or that task. So management and energy management, all time management. And we all have 158 hours in the week. That's how much time we all have. And you can't change that. And successful people don't have more time. They have the same time to do and the same time I do. And I truly believe what separates successful people from successful people from like really successful people is just how they invest time. Invest 158 hours per week. I heard a quote by Seneca, who's I think I don't know, it's been like prophet or something. You can't really Google something else. We are just live in this recording. So, quote, definitely is the quote. It essentially says, you know, it's not that we don't have enough time. It's like life, and in some ways, yes, it is. Life is short. But what the quote says is, it's not that life is short. It's more that we squander our time and that we don't invest it well. So then it feels like we're running out of time and we don't have enough time to accomplish the things we want or the things God has called us to. But I do believe we've been given adequate time. And whatever mission and purpose God has for you, he's also going to equip you with the capacity and the time to see it into fruition when you invest that time well. Okay? Like I don't want to miss out on any part of God's plan for my life. I want to just fully see it being realized. And I just know that to do that is choosing to invest my time and my energy into things that matter. So let's look at this weekly plan sheet. This is just a tool. It is a tool for you to plan and make choices about how you invest your time. Now, I don't actually use this actual sheet because I have other ways that I do it. I use the concept of it, but not the actual sheet. So you don't necessarily have to use this sheet. But it's in here. If it's helpful for you, you can print more of them off at leahloughlin.com. You can also find them on marykayintouch.com. So if this sheet works for you, then use it. But then there are other forms that have the same concept. And it's essentially just mapping out your week and your time. And so what I always start with is a couple of things. I start with a brain dump. And a brain dump is just thinking through what is in my mind, what needs to get done, what are my responsibilities, what do I have going on this week. I just want to like purge it out of my head, to declutter my mind and just figure out, okay, what's on my list of things to do. And then after that, I prioritize it. And you look at what carries the most value. What are the things that are leading me closer to the life I want to live? What has a return on my investment? If I'm investing in this or that, or this activity, or these people, what's giving me the greatest return on that investment that essentially it means taking me closer to your vision and the life God has called you to. And so you prioritize it. And I know what often seems like it should go at the top of the list probably shouldn't, because we normally just respond to the urgent and the easy. What feels most urgent and what feels easiest we want to start with. But instead, let's learn to focus on the valuable, which is often the more difficult thing. Okay, let's focus on what is of value and what carries the most weight. Okay, so you do your brain dump, then you prioritize it, and then you're plugging it into certain hours of your day. And so one of your challenges for this section is to actually fill in like an ideal of you. What would an ideal week look like? And it needs to include every part of your life. So when you work a full-time job, fill in your work hours there. For those of you who have kids, you obviously have responsibilities with that, so fill in that time. Fill in your date night. Fill in your church attendance. Fill in your Bible study. Fill in your quiet time. Fill in, even meals, even meal planning. Fill out the entire thing, and this is helpful to do because then it shows you the space that you have available to invest in your Mary Kay business. I encourage you to really define what does a perfect Mary Kay week look like for you. Okay, if you want to work at the perfect 4 level, I would set aside 2 time frames that you can hold Mary Kay parties and always book those 2 spots. And then most likely one of them is going to hold and one is going to cancel or reschedule. But if you want to work at the perfect 4 level where you're holding 1 party a week, you need 2 spots to hold parties and you fill them up each week. And I would stick to those consistent 2 spots. So maybe you do a Thursday night and a Saturday afternoon. And you make sure you protect your Thursday nights and your Saturday afternoons to book your Mary Kay parties. Those to finish your perfect 4. Okay, so that would be an example of using this effectively so that you're investing your time and prioritizing your time in things that count, things that matter, and things that are getting you closer to where you want to go or where you feel called to go. Okay, so that's your challenge, is to fill this out with the ideal week, including your Mary Kay business, and then you send a picture to myself or to your sales director. Let's go on to money management. Okay, this is another big one. Like, we're just covering the big things in this session, and again, we could spend a couple hours here. Some brief details and lay a good foundation for you to continue to learn more. I remember National Sales Director Linda Tupin. I was listening to some training she did for new consultants, and she said there are a couple of things that will sink a consultant faster than anything else, and it's poor time management, poor money management, and poor emotional or attitude management. Okay, so it's not that Mary Kay is that difficult of a business. In fact, it's pretty simple. It's a simple business, but things like not investing your time well, not tracking your money and investing it well, and not learning to manage the emotional side of this business, those can be deal breakers. So let's learn a couple tips on money management. So what we teach in Mary Kay is the 60-40 split. Let's talk about what that means. So when you make a sale, 40% of that sale is going into your personal checking or savings, and 60% is going into Mary Kay checking. So let's just use an easy round number, $100. You sell $100 this week. You're putting $40 into your personal checking. You're putting $60 into your Mary Kay checking. This being the profit you choose to use however you decide to invest that money, and this being the amount you're using towards building your Mary Kay business and investing in keeping your inventory stocked. And like, wait, I thought it was 50% commission. And yes, it is. It is 50% commission. But one thing we train you to do of your commission to cover your expenses, so that your expenses don't need to be covered by any other personal income you have, but that your business profits are covering your business expenses. And let me just say that every business has overhead. It's normal, and in fact, it's necessary. It's necessary to have overhead to build and maintain a business. And same in Mary Kay. And what we teach you to do is cover that overhead with part of your profit. And then the 50, okay, so 60% goes to Mary Kay checking, 10% to cover the expenses, 50% to just reorder what you've sold and to keep your inventory stocked. And I've heard consultants say before, like, oh, I just want to sell all this product and just get it all off my shelf. And yes, you do, in the sense that, yes, you want to sell it and move it, but not in the sense that you want to deplete it so that nothing is left. So as it's leaving your shelf, it's being restocked, okay? If you go to Walmart, their trucks are showing up every single day to restock the shelves. And they aren't waiting till the shelves are bare. And gas stations aren't waiting till the pumps are empty. That's in there. They are daily restocking it. And same in Mary Kay. We are just restocking our shelves as products are moving off. We're putting them back on. You don't want to be in a place where you've got nothing on your shelf to sell. That is not a profitable place to be, and it's not a successful way to work your Mary Kay business. The 40% that goes in your personal checking, this is your money to do whatever you choose to do. Now, as a new consultant, some of you have made an inventory investment. One of the things you can do with part of this profit is to pay down your inventory investment. That was my very first financial goal in Mary Kay, was to pay down the investment I made on the 0% credit card. And so this money that was going into a separate account was used to do that. Another way you can use this money initially as a new consultant is to build your inventory. If you do not have a full store, then you can use part, if not even all of this, to build that inventory. And that's a beautiful thing. When you are building your business with profits from the business, a beautiful thing that is unfolding. And then, of course, personal fund money, and then savings. So those are the options to do. I would prioritize paying off inventory investment and building your inventory first. Now, I know there's not a lot of immediate gratification in that. In this count, you want to, go shopping or spend it on some personal things. But let's be wise and savvy businesswomen and invest and support the business that we're building to create future income. You pay off that inventory investment to zero, and you've got your stocks or your shelves stocked with product. You have built a very strong, firm foundation that is going to pay you for years and years to come. Okay, you're starving in an orchard if you're not making a lot of money in Mary Kay. And you're working, of course, that assumes you're working the business and holding parties. So this can be very, very profitable for you and your family, but let's be savvy with how we're managing our money. This covers some expenses that you'll have, including PCP. Remember, it's 70 cents per person. Things like ProPay and business cards and setting up your website. We broke it down to how much it actually costs you a month by track some of your expenses. Supplies and samples is usually about 5% of your wholesale order that month. Postage and shipping, and then workshops that you come to. And so we broke all this down for you. And this is just an average. This is just an average number to give you an idea. So it's about $130 a month. And it would be very wise of you to set aside that money so that when PCP rolls up the enrollment for that, you've got that cash sitting there in your account ready to be invested in your customers. And then we have broken down the 60-40 split for the different levels of Perfect 12. And so Perfect 4, it has you selling on average 800 retail. Perfect 6, selling 1,200 retail. Perfect 8, selling 600 retail. And Perfect 12, selling 2,400 retail. On average, again, this is just an average. Your numbers might be a little bit more or a little bit less, but this is just an average. And then we put spaces to for how you're going to break down the money. 40% goes into personal checking, 50% for your reorder, and 10% to cover your expenses. Now, these should have numbers beside them, and I'm just realizing there's a typo. So we are going to get this updated, but it gives you an idea of how you'll break the numbers down. And then for those of you who made an investment, here's just a little, some questions you can process through to help you with this, to help you pay down your investment quickly and efficiently. So what is the total investment that you made? So you want to look at your credit card balance or your loan balance. What is the date you would like to have it paid off? %. How long was the loan, the length of the loan that you got? When does your dad want you to pay back the money he lent you? You know, figure out what the date is that you need to have it paid off. How much wholesale do you have in your inventory right now? So you to know whether you need to and how much you need to invest in building your full store. A full store I consider to be around 4,000 wholesale, give or take. How much more inventory do you need to build to a full store? That should say wholesale, 4,000 wholesale. What typo? Okay, and then when is the goal to have a full inventory? And that's another good date to set. You know, when would you like to be at a full inventory? I realize not everybody can start there, but everyone can build to that level of profits. And then how much do you need to sell weekly to make your monthly payment and to pay off your investment? And then how many parties do you need to hold to be able to make that weekly amount? Investing in my inventory, I got a 0% credit card. It was 0% for 6 months. I started with 2,400 wholesale that went on that credit card. About a month or two later, I made it about another $2,000 investment. I had about five on that credit card. And instead of just making the monthly payments, you guys, I took the total balance and divided it by the weeks I had it at 0%. So 0% for 6 months, but then that's 24 weeks. And so you know how my Sunday nights were to get organized in my business? That's another thing I did on Sunday nights is I logged into my online banking with that 0% card and I made that little payment. This worked so well, you guys, because that number per week was a lot smaller than the monthly payment I would needed to make. And I always like to divide numbers up to get it the smallest I can so it seems achievable. And so that number was smaller. And then I had a very, very clear weekly sales goal that I needed to hit to be able to pay down my inventory. And so I had a very clear number of parties that I wanted to hold needed to sell to pay down the investment. Because this was so good for me. It was so good for me because it kept me very, very motivated. Very early on in my business, I didn't have a whole lot of vision for Mary Kay. I didn't know I wanted to make it a career. I didn't even want to be a sales director. I didn't know how long I would even stick with Mary Kay. So you know what kept me motivated in the beginning was Sunday nights when I had to log in and pay down my credit card. I wanted to be responsible with the commitment that I had made. And if that, at that time in my mind, if that's all I ever did with Mary Kay, I would have been happy. Like if all I ever do is just pay off my inventory and sell enough to do that, then check, I'm happy with this. I mean, thank God it went a lot further than that. But that was initially my focus and my goal, and it kept me very, very motivated. And it was some good pressure. Sometimes we need a little bit of pressure. that little bit of positive pressure really kept me going and produced a lot of success in my business. So let's move on, guys, and let's wrap it up here with information. Let me make sure I covered everything. Okay, yes, we're going to wrap it up with this. And so it is an incredible tax advantage to be a small business owner in the United States of America. Expenses you have right now before you had your Mary Kay business are now that you're an independent contractor with Mary Kay, an independent consultant, are now a tax advantage to you and a tax write-off. So things like your cell phone bill, you're using your cell phone now partly for your Mary Kay business. So a percentage of your cell phone bill, a percentage of your either gas receipts or miles that you're driving are now a tax write-off. Internet in your home, of your home that you're using for your Mary Kay business specifically, tax advantage. And so you guys, we have people who are high earners in their day job who do Mary Kay part-time because they want to write some stuff off on their tax return so that they don't owe as much or so they get a little bit more back. Okay, so it's an incredible tax advantage to you. And we provide this worksheet so that you know that's a write-off. And so what you can do with this worksheet is, that box that is like my filing system, I just have a little tab and folder for each one of these categories. And as I have receipts, I stick them in these little folders. So when it comes tax time, I just need to add up all of the categories that I turn into my accountant. Okay, so do the due diligence that it takes to create some sort of filing system as your receipts so that you're ready come tax time and you can really take advantage of the tax benefit that it is to have a Mary Kay business. And more information coming soon. Again, I know I'm just briefly covering this around tax time. There are tax workshops and webinars you can get plugged into where you can really learn more details and get some questions answered, because everybody's tax situation is different, because it also involves, of course, your personal life too. So you can, around tax season, get more information. So let's wrap up, you guys, with emotional management. Because remember, it can sink a consultant faster than anything else. It's poor time management, poor money management, and poor emotional or attitude management. So we covered time and money briefly. Let's briefly cover emotional management, and we'll wrap it up with this. And so there's this emotional cycle that we all go through in Mary Kay and in life, okay? And so you are probably familiar with this. When you start your Mary Kay business, everyone starts super excited. You're pumped, the sky's the limit, you're dreaming about what you want to achieve, you're dreaming about what's possible, you're sort of painting a picture of how Mary Kay can benefit life. If you're not doing that, you should be doing that, and you should be dreaming about those things. And so then you start working your business, and one of two things sets in, and it's fear or frustration. First, sometimes frustration comes first in the form of obstacles or disappointments or discouragement or failure. There are many things that can and so fear and frustration set in. And so then the idea is that you work through fear and frustration to get to recommitment to your business. And as you recommit, you get really excited. And then just keep going through that emotional cycle. For the rest of your Mary Kay career, you will go through that emotional cycle. The goal is to work quickly. To learn to pivot and work through fear and frustration effectively so that fear is not stopping you dead in your tracks. And failures along the way that you're going to have, moments along the way that you're going to have, aren't tripping you up and moving on past it to get recommitted and re-excited again. And so it's important to learn and process through that. And in our training, you guys, we probably spend more time on that topic than anything else. When we do our training events and when I'm preparing training and conference calls, 90% of this business is your head and your heart, and how to deal with fear, frustration, failure, and the emotions that come with that. 10% of this business is skill, easy peasy. Anybody can learn to do a party. Anybody can learn a booking script. Side of this business is your head and your heart, and how to work through the emotions. And so, so you will get that training as you continue to stay plugged in, and as you go to events, we spend a lot of time. And we especially talk a lot about failure, and how failure is a part of success, and failure is a part of the process, and failure is a part of life, a part of how you learn and how you grow and how you do better yourself. We will in the future equip you with tools to work through failure. And the faster you can work through the emotional cycle and pivot when fear and frustration set in, the more successful you will be with your Mary Kay business. Sean Key, one of the VPs at Mary Kay, said the difference between a sales